Did the Komen Foundation or the American Cancer Society, when you were going through your treatment, either time, did they help you in any way, shape, or form? And if so, how? And the other question is, how do you feel about organizations like that? Do you think that they're helpful? Do you think that they're making good use of all the money that they're raising? I mean, they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars.
Absolutely. There's so much more awareness. There's so many more people every year that do that walk. There's so many more people that are wearing pink in October, because Susan G. Komen is a huge foundation that reminds us that there are people, that there are 250,000 women that get, I don't know what the statistic is, that will get diagnosed every year.
Well, and that it's okay to talk about it.
And it's okay to talk about it. It's not something to
go get tested,
to hide. I mean, we need to be outward about it. And through Susan G. Komen, I met other women that were young like me, where you just go, wow, you know, the last day of the race, when everybody walks in, they walk through the finish line, and we all get our shirts, and you see all the girls that are all the women and men that are putting on the pink shirts, and you just, wow.
blown away.
Look at all these people wearing the pink shirts, and I was walking beside them, had no idea. They're regular people, just like you and me, and just, you know, Susan G. was able to just open that up for me and just go, wow, I'm so not alone. You know?
One of the things that I make sure to inform everybody now is, even if you have annual mammograms, it is absolutely imperative that you do self-exams every month without fail. You know, we're so into technology and we put everything in our planner except the most important thing, which is to check on our health. Had I waited until my next mammogram, I wouldn't still be here.
Wow. That's
So,
scary.
very, very important to not only do the exams, but to pay attention to what you eat, what you drink, what you inhale, what chemicals you put on your hair, your skin, your clothing. Do a check through the home. A lot of times people get cancer and they say, well, you know, I have lung cancer, but I never smoked.
Right.
Well, they're inhaling something in a lot of instances, which is the cause. And unless they determine what that is, they're liable to get cancer back a second time. So going through the home, you know, there's one woman I was chatting with, and apparently when she bought her home, it was 17 years old, and it was filled with asbestos, lead paint. Her body was very, very sensitive to those items in her house. Even her carpet was unhealthy. So sometimes it's a matter of, you know, a little bit of an expenditure and work to move or gut a place or buy new skincare products or whatever it is. But you really do have to kind of take charge, because stress, environmental, diet, and genetics are the only 4 causes that they attribute to getting cancer.
Right. They're so great now with the reconstruction that it's a good option.
Right. Well, you know, it really depends on the person, because some want to do the breast conservation, which would be the lumpectomy, so you still have your own breast, and you still have the feeling and sensation to a point.
Right.
It just depends on how you feel. You know, it comes down to the doctors can tell you everything, but it's your body.
Right.
You have to make your own decision and be comfortable with that, and be at peace with your decision.
And just go with your gut feeling.
Right, exactly.
How you feel about everything.
Right, and it doesn't matter what guys think, you know, or anybody else. It's what you feel and what makes you feel good. You know, if having an implant in there makes you feel better, or then go ahead, do it. There are pros and cons on that. I mean, you lose your breast sensation and some of those things. I've got a lot of mine back, actually, so
Really?
which is great.
That is great.
Did you have an overwhelming sense or an overwhelming feeling of, I don't know how else to say it, but was your thinking, I'm going to die? Or was your thinking is, I'm not going to, I mean, what was your,
terror.
Terror, yeah.
Terror. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's absolute terror.
Yeah, it's not really rational at that point. It's you're going to die, but you don't know. It's a lot of ignorance and fear.
Terrified.
Yeah.
Waiting is the worst part.
Yeah.
Waiting for the scans, waiting for the calls. The worst day I spent of my entire life was the day once they had told me it had come back, and they told me to go get complete scans. I had to get a bone scan, and I had to get a full body scan from my face to my toes. And they kept not calling me back, and they kept not calling me back. And I called my husband and I said, you have to come home. He was at work. And, you know, the kids were here, and I thought for sure I was going to die. And I thought they weren't calling me because it was just everywhere. And we sent the kids over to my in-laws, and we just sat here for like 2 hours, terrified, thinking I was going to die. And the doctors just didn't call. And finally, my husband, it was 6 o'clock, they hadn't called, and he paged the doctor and made an emergency page. And he said to her, you know, we're terrified. And she was surprised. She goes, what? She goes, it's sitting on my desk. It's clear. I was waiting till tomorrow. And we both, and he started crying, and I started crying, and she was shocked that we were, and she could not understand the kind of terror and tension and horror we had gone through for hours. We thought I was terminal, that it was through my entire body, and it was terrifying, and she didn't get it.
I went to the conference, the breast cancer conference last year, specifically to find out, what do you do after tamoxifen? What is a young woman my age, my situation, what do I do? What's there available? And I talked to whatever specialist was there, the surgeons, the top oncologists, nothing. Get your ovaries removed. Either you deaden them chemically or you take them out. So now I can be postmenopausal, and then there's just a whole, just tons of medicines I can take now. But there's no options before that, because there's no studies, because they don't know what tamoxifen really does before that. Someone at the conference said, you know what, I've been taking it, I'm on 6 years now, and it's still working for me. And I go,
how do you know?
How do you know?
And
at the same time, how do you know it's not?
How do you know it's not?
This is a major piece of what the Young Survival Coalition as a national organization is looking to change, is to incorporate more research that includes young women and studies specifically for young women.